The views expressed in this video are solely those of the hosts, collaborators, and contributors, and do not necessarily represent the views of Royal Productions, OWC, LLC. We encourage diverse perspectives and open dialogue. If you have any concerns, please contact us at info@royalproductionsowc.com. Thank you for being a part of the RPOWC community. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the California Avenue podcast. I'm your host, Unconventionally Black, UB for short, and this is a Black-centered space and place where all are welcome and where we discuss unconventional topics unapologetically from lived experiences and perspectives. I don't know if you can tell, but your girl got her intro down. Okay, she's got it down. Yeah, and welcome to the last episode of this season. Season 1, done. But yeah, welcome to the last episode. Thanks for rocking with me. And today we are going to be talking about unconventional topics. Yeah, this is just pretty much me turning it up and talking my shit. Quite frankly, if we're gonna be honest, that's what this episode's all about. It's about me talking about, I feel, unconventional topics because I feel like maybe not a lot of people, I don't know, think the same, or maybe they do. Yeah, but this is stuff that I want to bring up in small talk. I want to talk about how spirituality is similar to religion. I want to know what you think little dick energy is. I want to know what you think about coping skills being things that are like way out of your budget, but you keep going for them anyway. I want to know how you feel about having respectful and intentional one-night stands. Is there such a thing? That's what I want to know. So this is what this episode is about. It's about those topics. So let's get into it. So for spirituality being similar to religion, I mean that with the most respect. I think it's great for people to find a healthy space where they can find community. But I do feel like religion and spirituality sometimes can go hand in hand with certain ways that people practice it. I'm personally not a fan of organized, not a fan with a D, no. Personally, I'm not a fan of organized religion. I've just had a lot of bad experiences. If you've seen any other episodes, you probably can guess how I feel about religion. But I feel like religion has some benefits as far as forming community. I feel like religion gets really like picky about how people should be, how they should treat one another. And if you don't do certain things, I feel like it's because you just didn't like pray hard enough. I definitely feel that a lot of part of religion is, tied to how much effort you put into your devotion, and that's why you get rewards. And I personally have a hard time now, because I did practice religion at some point in my life, but I can say now that I don't really agree with that stance. I don't believe in giving something away. I feel like nothing gets accomplished by giving your problems to God, by praying your problems to God. So yeah, I feel like religion is a big part of at least Christianity is praying to God and giving him your problems. And I feel like where spirituality kind of falls in that same category is that a lot of times, like, people have heavy emphasis on manifesting things. And if you're not manifesting things, it's like, well, what effort and energy are you putting towards that thing that you really want? Well, if you really wanted it, then you would have manifested it in this way, and it would have happened for you. And I mean, yeah, I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think in reality that's how things work. I think that in theory, it's good to manifest something different in life. I think it's good to pray your problems away because it hits at this like core thing, which is having more of a positive belief that things will get better. And I think that's kind of backed up by psychology and just studying behavior. I think that's kind of like in theory what's happening when people say they like pray away their problems or give it to God. And I think it's similar to what happens in spirituality, which is, oh, I'm gonna manifest something better and different for my life. Yeah, but I think where I have a hard time with it is that, you know, it's not really giving you enough credit because there's still like a lot of effort that you're putting forward. You're having a positive attitude about things, which is like first step and great, but there's actually things that you're putting in motion and putting in action that are causing a better result for your life. So I don't agree with it for that reason. So I feel like when I have people I meet that are more spiritual, it kind of it kind of turns me off a bit and kind of like makes me go when someone mentions, you know, I just manifested things, because it's, again, not giving you enough credit, but it's also like not a clear blueprint of how you got to the things. Like, girl, give me details. Like, don't hold out. So that's my beef with it. I think overall, in general, it's good to practice something where you want to treat other humans well. I think that's important. But yeah, I think we gotta do a little bit more work around giving more details about how you get in a better place in life. But that's just me. I mentioned I'm gonna turn up and talk my shit, right? So that's tea. That's tea. Obviously, because I'm spilling the cheese, mate, okay? All right. So next topic is little dick energy. And I mean, I know that's not really uncommon. I know a lot of people talk about little dick energy, but I feel like other people's qualifications for little dick energy compared to my qualifications to little dick energy is a little different. And that's cool because, you know, different strokes for different folks. But I don't know. I'm interested to know what people think about what would make someone have LDE, the serious case of LDE. And I mean, guys who are overly obsessed with a woman's weight, overly obsessed with overly obsessed with a woman's past, you know, the part where they had a life before you. And what else is little dick energy? So something that hits at little dick energy for me is like the bare minimum conversations. The conversations that are just like, it's almost like the guys are trying to hit like a minimum word count in the text messages. Like it makes no sense. You know, you can ask them like, hey, how was your day? And then they'll say, good. You? Yikes. Like, what are we talking about at this point? Like, how are we supposed to, I'm supposed to carry this conversation? Like, cool, you're clearly not interested in talking in this way. Like, hit me up when you're readily available. Little dick energy for me. That's a no for me, dog. Like, you will not get a text back.
It's definitely a no for me, dog.
At that point. But, you know, at this grown age that we are at, you would think that we can have grown conversations, but that's not that common. And I get it. Sometimes I don't feel like texting. Sometimes I don't feel like talking. But I'll make that known. Or I'll say, hey, I'm gonna hit you up later. But this, like, just bare minimum texting, like, we gotta do better. Yeah. Guys who are overly obsessed with women's weight. You know, like, in a woman's past. And it's usually men who are upset about women who have a life before them. I don't know, you know, the thing that they did before they met you, you know, the person they developed into that you kind of fuck with low-key, because why are you here if you didn't? You know what I mean? Like,
be fucking for real.
The girl that is in front of you today is because of the girl that was there in the past. And I've had some surprising conversations with guys about just what happens before they meet their partner and how surprised they are about their life before them. And I mean, yeah, that's how I feel about it. Like, you fuck with this person for a reason, and that's because of the shit that they went through in the past. So, like, let's be real. Like, let's be real. You're digging it. So why are you gonna, like, be upset about what it took to create who you like today? Like, I don't know, just the math ain't mathin'. So yeah, and again, like, I noticed I didn't say this before, but in my mind, I've said it like 50 times to people. You get to choose who you date. Like, once you figure out, like, this person did something that I don't really vibe with, you can walk away. You can, like, the door is right there. You know what I mean? But yeah, people tend to try to make people feel bad for things that they can't control, and it's just really interesting to me. Yeah, again, you have options. So same thing goes about, like, guys who are obsessed with women's weight. And I feel like, to me, it's more of guys who are so concerned with their partner's weight that they try to get them on a certain diet and, like, tell them about their calories, or, like, will make comments about what they look like before compared to what they look like now. I'm like, excuse the fuck out of me! Come on, my guy. Come on. First of all, we're not gonna act like the human body just ain't weird as shit. Like, it just be doing shit that we don't expect it to do, like, at random times. Like, are we just gonna ignore that fact? Are we just gonna ignore the fact that we can't, like, control for everything? It's giving control issues. But yeah, I don't like how men carry themselves when it comes to what other women look like and how our bodies fluctuate. I mean, a science class will tell you that hormones do crazy shit. So, like, I don't know, why are you bitching about it? Sorry, not sorry, but why are you bitching about it? You have a choice, you know? And also, it's, again, human bodies do different things at different times that we can't control for. And yeah, I mean, I'm not about, you know, dogging people out, but, you know, the whole point of this is to turn up and talk my shit. And if I had to be like 8 more than 92 with it, yeah, I'm not rocking with men who complain about those things. And I am horrible when I feel like someone is being mad disrespectful intentionally. Oh, everybody's a bitch. Everybody's a bitch. So there's a song that I like, and it is on repeat. It plays for free in my brain 24/7 whenever someone just like does it for me. And every time I think of Little Dick Energy, I think of these lyrics. They should bleed once a month, cause that's what these bitches do. You a bitch, and your bitch should expose you. All that pillow talking, that's what these hoes do. You a bitch. And I know the rest, but we're not gonna take up a whole time rapping lyrics. But that's how I feel about Little Dick Energy. That's how I feel about it. Anywho, next topic. Next topic is your coping skills, and that shit being like ridiculously expensive for some reason. How many of us have that experience? Just me? Well, it's a problem that I'm working through. And yeah, damn. Now that I'm saying this, like, on camera, that means I'm gonna be held accountable at some point, which is something I try to keep in mind when I record these things. But yeah, this is a problem. This is a problem that I've noticed, a pattern that has been heavy since college age. Yeah, it's been an issue. I've always been interested in food. My Faja created a foodie, and he created a monster. He created a monster. Your girl has expensive ass taste in food. And yeah, it's not helping whatsoever. I do like to cook, but currently, you know, your girl is, you know, working full time and is disabled and is exhausted, in other words. So yeah. And I don't just eat any shit, you know. I try to eat the good shit, and it's catching up to my ass. which means I got to work through it. And it's just one of those old comforts, and it's really hard for me to break. And yeah, yeah, that's my beef with myself, I guess. But I'm curious who else has that, that experience, or if you don't, like, what is your coping skills so I can, get better at mine. um Last topic is respectful, intentional one night stands. I I have I would hope that everyone feels the same way, but I know there's a lot of morality police out there, who think that for some reason people who have one night stands don't deserve respect still. It's just yikes. Yikes. But yeah, there are people who believe that, and I am not one of them. I feel like if you decide to have a one night stand, whether it's a one night stand completely and one and done, or if it's a one night stand that's like, oh, it's a one night stand that turns into a situationship. Maybe it's a one night stand that, turns into relationships, which means there definitely has to be a good amount of respect there. But back to the original point, I think that we can make one night stands way more respectful and intentional in the way that you as an individual is showing up to this space. Like, I don't know, I would think that as adults, like an adulting adult, the kind that has their own bills and all of those responsibilities. I mean, even if you just hit the cusp of being an adult, whether that's 18, 21, and you decide to be engaged in a consensual sexual interaction, yeah, I think it's really important to show up intentionally. If you're young, you probably won't have as many lived experiences with disrespect, and disrespect in sexual interactions, and maybe you have. And yeah, either way, I feel like if you're someone who has had experience with someone who is disrespectful in a sexual interaction, you learn from those experiences, right? And you know that you would never want to be treated that way, so why would you treat anyone else that way? So I think from those lived experiences, we can be a little bit more respectful and intentional when we show up in these spaces. It goes back to the old saying of treat others how you would like to be treated. And yeah, I think we just forget that when it comes down to the nitty gritty, because our needs are like screaming at us, and we're just like, oh, we gotta get this, like, we gotta scratch this itch. And I like understand, get it, but in order for it to be a good experience, it has to be a tango, and it takes two, baby. So why not create a space where that other person feels as comfortable as they could for the first time meeting you? I feel like you've done like so many things to get to this point with this person where you're gonna be like, yeah, we're about to get it ins. Like, why not again be as respectful as you can? You were probably really respectful enough to get to this point where you're about to, again, get it in, yeah, let's try to be a little bit more intentional with how we treat another person. And yeah, I feel like it's possible, and I feel like, you know, we should aim for that experience for each person that we're intimate with, because yeah, it can really add to a person's development, I feel, and probably add a little something to their perspective in life. So yeah, I'm gonna get on my soapbox in every little small talk arena and be like, so how do you feel about like respectful one night stands? And maybe people will be into it. I don't know. Or maybe people will be like, this girl is weird, and like, who invited you?
She doesn't even go here.
So yeah, that's it, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me in this conversation of unconventional topics. Please don't come for my head. This is just me being silly, being goofy, you know. Yeah, but low-key, this is really how I feel. And it's like, you know, that episode of Key and Peele, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you to YouTube it, of like angry, you know, Black Obama, like what his interpreter would say. This is like my internal thoughts are like the angry Black people in those skits. Just the angry Black girl in me is just like ready to come out. But I filter it and I keep it cute sometimes. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in to today's episode. We drop episodes every Friday at 1 p.m., but we're gonna take a little break. Okay, this is the last episode of the season. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. It has been such an awesome experience to create this space, and I want to keep it going for next season. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell notification to stay updated on all future episodes and seasons, because there's gonna be more. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful night.